Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to August. Yay.
Yay for August.
Yeah. And the art of allowing is going to be our theme for this month. We're excited for this. It's one of the most important parts, I think, of law of attraction, don't you think?
I 100% agree
Mm-hmm.
because, step one is to ask. We're all really good at asking for what we
Right.
want, right?
Yeah.
Step two is to get into a space of allowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then step three is to master,
Yeah.
stay in the space
In the
of
space
allowing
of
and
allowing.
receiving, right?
Yeah.
And so, one of the most important things is the art of allowing because I think that's where a lot of people get hung up.
Right.
Is allowing the things that they've already co-created through their asking to come into their
Mm-hmm.
lives.
Yeah, we don't have to push like we're taught usually,
Hmm.
always gotta go for everything we want. But when you allow it in and allow yourself to relax and follow the little breadcrumbs that fall before you, turns out way better.
Yeah, I think one of my least favorite phrases is when people say you got to grind.
Yeah, yeah,
You got
I
to get your
don't
nose to
like
the
that either.
grindstone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's horrible. That's a horrible way to think of
Yeah,
things.
I don't, I
Yeah,
need my nose.
we
No.
need our noses. And why are we thinking that suffering is what creates
Right.
the good things in our lives? It's not.
No,
It's
no, it's
not.
not.
Once you the one of the biggest premises of the law of attraction is once you ask, it's given.
Mhm.
Once you ask, it's already created. And then the cooperative components are on their way to you, but you
Right.
need to be in a space of receiving it.
Mhm.
And the art of allowing is the art of getting into the vibration of the things that you've asked for
Yeah.
so that they can come into your life in the highest, best, and most fun and joyful way.
Right. Yeah. So it's so important to learn this piece of it, and that's why we're so excited to share it with you guys for
Yes.
the month.
Yes.
We'll find all kinds of good ones each week
Yeah.
to do, and um, it's just so important to get used to, okay, if something feels like you're pushing or feels like, oh, this is hard, it's your sign to step back a little bit
Mm.
and just be okay with relaxing a little and letting the universe get the plan. That's not our job.
Right.
It's not our job to push through everything. It's our job to ask
Mm.
and then start following the things, the little things that happen to guide you along the way to get there.
Absolutely. When you were talking, something came to mind so the harder you push against something, the more resistance is created, right?
Right.
So think about water tension. If you're
Yeah.
thinking about the surface of water, like the surface of a lake, perhaps,
Hmm.
and you think about, okay, what is the easiest way to get into the lake? The least painful way to get into the lake? Well, if you do a belly flop, there's a lot of resistance there, right? You got your whole body pushing against the water and it goes smack and it hurts and it's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
So you're pushing real hard to get into that water, right?
Hmm.
If you do, you know, a cannonball,
Hmm.
there's less resistance, but you're still probably going to hurt your bottom on the way in,
Right.
right? Because you
You're
still
gonna
have
get
a
that
whole
big
big surface
explosion
area.
of water. Right.
There's a lot of water tension there,
Yeah.
smack. But if you go with the water, you do a dive
Dive.
into the water and
Yeah.
flow with it,
Hmm.
you have a much easier time. You
Right.
don't hurt your body, you slide into the water and you come back up. It's graceful, it feels great.
Yeah.
And that's kind of illustrates the art of allowing versus trying to
Hmm.
push things
Yeah.
into existence.
Yeah.
It can be so
That's
much
good.
easier.
Yeah.
Why not
Right.
do it the easy way?
Yeah. Yeah. Why
Why not?
why struggle when you don't have to, right? I ask myself that a lot.
Yeah, why do we make it harder and harder
Yeah.
and harder? We're
Yeah.
like, what am I
I
doing right
know.
now?
Yeah.
This makes no sense.
Right. And nobody's perfect no matter how much you study.
No,
The yeah, and
perfection is an
we're
illusion.
all always learning.
Yeah.
more and more. So don't feel like you have to go from here to here right away. I mean, we're always learning the steps and relearning the steps and relearning the steps, you know.
And like we say in pivoting,
Yeah,
if you can get to the point of relief,
yeah,
you've made progress.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so one step is progress, and
Mhm.
every step towards more progress creates more progress by the law of attraction.
Yeah,
And that feels good. That's
it
movement.
does. It does. It really feels good. So let's read a little bit about this.
Yes.
And then we'll discuss more.
Discussions. We like
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a
We do.
podcast, right?
Yeah. I mean, that is the object of our day. Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to start?
Sure.
Or you? Okay. Learning the art of allowing.
Oh, by the way,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
in The Vortex by Esther and Jerry Hicks. So this is one that we have just kind of started to introduce to you guys. If you have it, perfect. If you don't, it's The Vortex, where the law of attraction assembles all cooperative relationships from the law of attraction series that we
Yeah.
have.
It's a good one.
It's
Of
great.
course, they all are fun.
Mhm.
It's a good one. So learning the art of allowing. Jerry, this is him speaking. So this one is kind of written in a little bit of a
Like a conversation kind of.
yeah, conversation. So it'll talk Jerry and then Abraham. So it will go back and forth. So Jerry, you have spoken to us often of the art of allowing. Is what you are speaking of here? You have spoken to us often of the art of allowing. Okay. Is that what you are speaking of here? That sounded weird when I said it. Sorry. Abraham, yes, the art of allowing is what you want most to understand because in deliberately applying it, you allow yourself to be all that you have become. And anything less than the allowing of you to be you feels less good. In other words, every contrasting experience causes an expansion of who you are, because the larger non-physical part of you always moves to that point of farthest expansion. But if you continue to look back to the events of circumstances or reasons that caused the expansion, you then hold yourself in opposition to the very expansion. You disallow it, and then you feel bad. The art of allowing is simply your allowing yourself by virtue of your deliberately chosen thoughts to keep up with the expansion of yourself. And since the expansion is happening because the contrast of your time-space reality insists that it does, if you are to be happy, you have no other choice than to keep up. The broader non-physical part of you to whom you have an eternal relationship is one who loves. When you are not loving, you are not practicing the art of allowing. The broader non-physical part of you is one who knows your worthiness. When you feel unworthy, you are not practicing the art of allowing. Here is an opportunity to begin to understand another basic flawed premises of your society. Flawed premise number 4. I have come here to live the right way of life and to influence others to the same right way of living. And what feels right to me must be the right way of living for all. Ooh.
Cringe.
That's a cringer, yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot to
There's a lot in
unfold
there.
there. For one thing, we need to remember that everyone's on their own journey, and it's not our journey to worry about what others' journey is, right? And when we are we're allowing other people to be on their own journey. That's one hard thing for most people to do, is to allow them And speaking as a parent, you want your kids to be the best they can be. You want them to do good and have a good life, but it's not our job to control what that is in them. And a lot of parents try to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that my parents never did that to me. They allowed all of us. I have three siblings, and we were all allowed to be who we wanted to be and to become and do, go to school if we chose to, or, do the jobs that we felt we wanted to do. We weren't ever, they didn't place any burdens on us that we had to carry from what they wanted for us, which I thought was amazing. I mean, I had friends that, oh, I have to go to a certain college, or I have to do this, and I always felt like, oh, I'm so glad I don't have that burden on myself, and it's just a hard place to be in as a parent sometimes, that you have to let your kids make their own choices and do that. I mean, in my head, I think you have to do that, but a lot of parents don't have that thought, but whatever.
I think it can be difficult for people because, like you said, we have such wanting for others, whether it's a parent or a friend or a lover or a wife or a husband or a granddaughter or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it can be hard for us if we see other people struggling.
Yeah.
Or having difficulties or things like
really
that.
Hard.
But we have to remember that, like you said, we're each on our own journey. But the measure of success is how much are we expanding into who we truly are.
Right. Yeah.
And so each person has an individual measure of what that success looks like, because everybody has their unique journey.
Yeah.
And so by allowing someone to fully be themselves, you can begin to see what that success means for them.
Yeah.
And help to guide them if they want it, if they ask for it.
Right.
To where they want to go as a person, rather than trying to push them in this direction, push them in that direction. They feel this pressure, and it's hard for them to know their own guidance and where they actually want to go, or what they want to do, or where they want to be. And so it's one of those things where the harder you push against something, the more resistance is created.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you approach it, like Abraham says, with love, when you are loving and you're saying, I see you for who you are, and I love you just as you are. And I see the beauty of what you can become, and I want to help you get there. Yeah. That's a much different approach than saying you have to go to college because you won't be successful.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because everybody's different.
Yeah.
And so it's a way of approaching life and approaching others and approaching your own life, even. Yeah. That creates a loving, supportive environment, which helps others to learn and grow, which helps yourself to learn and grow, which creates this beautiful vortex of creation, which you're co-creating together in a way that can be beautiful. It's good for relationships. It's good for yourself. It's good for everything, really.
It is.
Not saying that you can't, guide your children, because of course you should guide your children. Right. They don't know everything, and you don't know everything, and nobody knows. If somebody says they know everything, run. Yeah. We will 100% tell you we don't know everything, but we have lived a lot of life. Right. And we have things that have worked for us and things that haven't. And that's why we choose to share them with you. Yeah. The things that do.
And when it was talking about, like, even for instance, yourself, if your monkey mind or ego or whatever starts telling you you're not worthy of this, or, no, you can't, that's impossible for you to have this, or for you to get that job or whatever, that's not God talking to you. That's not yourself talking to you. That is your ego just trying to keep you safe. Or, it's your It's all those things creeping up and trying to keep you safe and keep you in that spot that you're still in because it thinks that you're safe there.
Right.
You know,
It's your
so
subconscious trying to keep those patterns
right.
that
Yeah.
other people have taught you will keep you safe.
Yeah. Yeah. So when your mind starts talking to you like that, know that that isn't true. It's not coming from love.
Right.
So you can tell that voice to shut up.
Yes, you can.
And you can tell that voice, you know, you're not the boss of me.
You can tell that, you can tell your mind, thank you, mind.
Yeah,
I
thank you,
love and
mind.
appreciate that you were trying to help me here.
Right.
But that's not a thought that I want to be thinking. Let's think
Yeah.
of something else.
Yeah.
Here's some things that you can think about.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's about retraining that mind and that
Yeah.
subconscious, really,
Yeah.
to get into
The allowing.
the art of allowing with you, to be on board with it.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
that's the thing, is like getting your mind, your spirit, your body,
Mhm.
and your vibration all in alignment.
All in the vortex,
All
like
in
Abraham
all
says.
in the vortex
Yeah.
of creation,
Yeah.
which is what the art of allowing gets you into the same vibration as.
Right.
And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing, but it is practice.
It is practice.
So we're gonna
A
help
lot
you
of
guys
practice.
figure out what is it
Yeah.
and how can I do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's our plan.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to read a little?
Yes, sure. Okay. So we just read the flawed premise
Yep.
of my truth is everybody's truth.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yeah.
not the case.
No.
Nope.
Everybody has a different truth.
Yes, because all of us. So one last thing.
Right.
Every single one of us comes from a completely unique perspective from every other one of us.
Yeah.
Whether we have lived in the same town, right across the street from each other our entire lives,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter.
Even in the same household,
In the same
growing up.
house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can have totally two different experiences
Yep.
from other siblings.
Yes. So you have
Yeah.
completely different. So everybody has a very unique perspective.
Yeah.
So each person has their own
Right.
truth.
Yeah.
And so it's good to kind of keep that in mind and kind of mull that over, because that will tell you a lot about, well, okay, what's right for me is it might not be right for somebody else. What I
Mhm.
see as truth might not be somebody else's full truth. Maybe we have agreements on things,
Right.
but some things will be different. And I have to
Mhm.
accept that because every single person is unique
Yeah.
and we're meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty
Yeah.
of this. We all expand one another for our
Right.
uniqueness.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
Kind of.
Off the soapbox. No.
Can I get
Yeah.
back on again?
Yeah. Anytime.
I love
Anytime.
being on the soapbox. Okay, it makes me taller. I'm short.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so we're on page 27. You did not come into this physical experience intending to take all of the ideas that exist and whittle them down to a handful of good ideas that everyone agrees on. In fact, the opposite was your intention. You said, I will go forth into a sea of contrast, and from it, more ideas will be born. You understood that joyous expansion would be born from diversity. Since everyone wants to feel good, but there are so many things that others are doing that, as you observe them, you do not feel are good, it is easy to understand how you would come to the conclusion that your path of feeling good is through influencing or controlling the behavior of others. But as you attempt to control them through influence or coercion, you discover that not only can you not contain them, but your attention to them brings more like them into your experience. Law of attraction, my friends.
Right. At best.
Yeah. Your current society is waging a war against illegal drugs, a war against poverty, a war against crime, a war against teenage pregnancy, a war against cancer, a war against AIDS, a war against terrorism, and all of them are getting bigger. You simply cannot get to where you want to be by controlling or eliminating the unwanted.
I love that. I remember when I first read that paragraph and it hit me how crazy it is that we keep doing things like that, you know, having that war on drugs or war on whatever, war on crime. You can't you can't solve the problem by the way of the problem.
Right. You
You
can't
have
be in
to-
the problem and find the solution.
Right.
Right.
You have to look for the solution outside of that. And it's like Einstein says, keep doing the same thing over and over is the
Definition of
definition of
insanity.
insanity. You can't expect a different result when you don't change that. So,
Right. And
yeah,
we know that what you resist persists.
right.
It
Yep.
gets bigger.
Yeah.
That's law of attraction at work.
Mhm.
What you focus upon, they're focusing upon the problem with
Yeah.
all of this war against. They're not focusing on the solution.
Right. They're not solution oriented at all.
Mhm.
So
Which
think
creates a bigger
about,
problem.
yeah, it does. So think about that when you have a cause that you're working for, and think of it as solution based rather than fighting against that thing.
Right. Like, what are you for? What is it that you're wanting to
Yeah.
accomplish? What do you want to see in the
Mhm.
world? And make that your focus.
Right. And that's not to bring up again politics,
Oh boy.
but
Yeah.
just to touch on it a little bit, when the politicians are in their running or whatever, they're always bashing each other. If you would just tell me what you're for and what you believe, that's how you get my vote. And I know a lot of people think that way, and it's never changed. It's always been
Yeah.
against.
I'm like, I don't care what he called your mother.
Right.
I just want to know what is your plan? What are you
Right.
gonna do?
What
are
are
you
you standing
interested
for?
in? Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you standing up for? What
Yeah.
is it that you are interested in seeing change?
Mhm.
I don't know. I have no idea what you wanted
Right.
because you never told me.
Right.
You just kept talking about his mom and where he comes from and what war he didn't fight in because he had a knee. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm making that up.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. That wasn't a true story.
It wasn't not a true story. I'm just making it up
Yeah,
in my brain.
but
Like, what do you told me nothing.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. Things like that, we need to flip that and start talking in a different way so that we are allowing the good stuff in.
Yeah, we're creating and we're
allowing.
focusing on what we want and
Right.
allowing it in rather than pushing against something we don't want
Yeah. Yeah.
and creating more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what happens. Is
Yeah.
like, we're pushing against fighting against one another
Mm-hmm.
and pushing and pushing and pushing until it just more and more and more.
Yeah.
Where the solution is
Right.
to think about working together,
Mm-hmm.
being kind to each other.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
working on solutions for the bigger picture rather than infighting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of about what is our focus?
Yeah.
What do we want?
Be solution focused.
What do we want?
Right. Yep.
Good point. Okay, do you want me to just continue that?
Sure.
And who among you gets to decide which way of living is the right one anyway? And 8 billion people or whatever we got now.
Right.
Is the largest group the one that holds the knowledge? Or is the group with the greatest capacity to kill the other groups the one who is right? Do poor people have the answer? Do rich people hold the key? Which religion is the right religion? Which way of life is the right one? Is it right to have children? How many is the correct number? And if a woman has children, is it appropriate for her to think of other things? Can she have a career, or is she now obligated to think of nothing other than her children? How should a man treat his wife? How many wives should he have? The flawed premise, my group's or our way of life is the only correct way, therefore all other ways must be stopped because when I look at what I do not agree with, I feel bad, is the basis of the majority of unhappiness on your planet. Not only do those being pushed against feel the pain, but those doing the pushing feel it as well. In fact, the unhappiest, least fulfilled among you are those who are pushing against others, because in doing so, you are disallowing the most important relationship of all, the relationship between you and you.
That's so good. Yeah. And I think if people would just take a minute to think about it first, they would have a lot more compassion towards others and towards their cause or whatever. you know, it would be a much happier world out there.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
100%. And
Yeah.
the more you push against something, the more you find to push against.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
pretty soon that wall is so big, you can't see your way around it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
unhappiness at its core, isn't it? Depression, you get stuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't feel good. Nothing feels good.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's not a great place to be because you can't feel your guidance from there.
Yeah. And that's something we talk about a lot is, you know, checking in once in a while and asking, where am I at? Where is my guidance right now? What emotion am I feeling? And just noticing that and acknowledging it so that you can move up that scale and move to a better place.
Right.
It's all about pivoting.
And think about this.
And allowing.
Yeah, think about this. If you're yelling at somebody or something because they're doing something wrong,
right.
What emotional set point are you at when you're yelling?
Yeah.
You're in anger.
Yeah.
And anger is below satisfaction. Yeah. And satisfaction is where you are in, less and less resistance, where you're finally beginning to allow. So if you're in anger, you're in resistance. If you're in resistance, you're not allowing. And if you're not allowing, the things that you co-created cannot come to you. So the solutions and things that make you happy are being held away. And so you feel worse and you feel bad.
Yeah.
So think about that. So if you are pushing and saying, you're doing it wrong, and you're yelling at a group of people or a person in front of you or whatever, you are not in a space of loving, allowing.
Right. And there's never only one way to do anything.
No.
Anything.
There are an infinite number of solutions to all problems.
Right. Yeah.
And an infinite way to do things in ways that we haven't even come up with yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And isn't creativity kind of the point?
It is. It is. Yeah.
Maybe.
Just a thought.
Yeah. Food for thought.
Just a thought. Yeah.
Food for thought.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be so much easier if we allow it to be. And if we think about it before we blow off the handle or before we go against, and just take a step back and take a breath, take a moment to decide and ask yourself, okay, am I allowing right now or am I pushing against? It's an easy question.
It is an easy question because it's all on how do you feel right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel?
Yeah.
Where's your vibration?
Yeah. Yeah. I hope this is making sense.
I hope this is making sense. If it's not making sense, let us know because we want to explain it in a way that does make sense to you. We can explain things in all sorts of ways.
Yeah. And I feel like that simplifies it a little better for people.
It does. It gives you an example. It kind of makes it a simple example. And so we've explained this concept in several different ways over time.
Right. Yeah.
So if this one makes sense, perfect. If it doesn't, look at one of our other podcasts.
Yeah. We'll say it 100 different ways until everybody gets it.
Have to.
Yeah.
Have to.
Yeah.
Or they decide for themselves that something else is right for them, which is perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
But these things are helpful and they worked for us. So we're sharing them with you, and we hope the people that find us are ones who are interested in the same concepts that we are and improving their lives.
Yeah.
That's what we're about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want me to read the last paragraph? Because I think we have time to do the second section. While it was your intention for new desires to be born within you and to accomplish those desires, you had no intention of hindering in any way the desires of others. You knew that this world was big enough for everyone to create their own desires, and you were not worried about being hindered by your observation of their creations, even if you did not like what you saw, because you knew you had the power to focus upon what was wanted. And so, ridding your world of your personal unwanted was not necessary. You intended to decide what you want, and by the power of your focus and the law of attraction, to attract it, and to allow all others to do the same. You understood that diversity not only provides the basis of your strength and your expansion, but of your very existence. Because if there is not expansion, existence cannot continue to be.
So good.
I
I love it. Yeah. And it's not like when they talked about the power to focus on what is wanted. So it doesn't mean stick your head in the sand and pretend things aren't happening
Right.
that are. It just means to focus on the things that you want rather than the things that you don't want. And the things that maybe are going on around you that you don't really like. We don't have to focus on that. If you focus on the thing better for you, then it's going to help you get past that.
Right. It's called the sifting and the sorting process.
Yeah.
You decide, I like that, I don't like that. I like that, I don't like that. I really don't like that. I like that. This is better. I like that.
Yeah.
That's the sifting and the sorting process.
Yeah.
And so there have to be things for you to like and not like. And there has to be that contrast of those things in order for you to continue to know what you want, what you don't want, and to expand the being of who you are and to learn and become more.
Yeah. And wouldn't life be boring if it was just all
It was all the same.
contrast? Yeah,
It would be.
it would be.
If we all had the same experience, we would all get bored and we'd be like, okay, I'm done with
Yeah.
this. Can we just do something else?
Right.
Boring.
Yeah, it would be.
And none of us likes to be bored. That's
No.
one of the reasons we're here.
It is. It is.
Continue to create something more and something more interesting and to become more of who we are and who we want to be.
Yeah.
And figure out what that is.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, the next section is another question that Jerry is asking of Abraham. Do we have power to influence others rather than control them? Jerry, I'd like to talk more about the power of influence or the power of control we have over one another in our relationships. How much power over others do we actually have, and how can we avoid being influenced away from something that we want by another who thinks that we should want something different? Abraham, it is good that you see that there is a distinction between control and influence, and we would like to take your understanding further still. When someone seeks control over another person or over a situation, they never achieve it, because in the attitude of control, there is such a big component of knowing what you do not want, that your vibration and point of attraction are working in opposition to your actual desire. Even though you may join forces with others to push against the unwanted, and even when it appears that your forces have overwhelmed the opposing forces, you never actually gain control, but instead you enhance or add to your attraction of more unwanted. The faces and places may change, but more unwanted keeps coming, and you find no sustainable control. So that's just the perfect story of, you keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a change, and it's not going to happen. Or you say in relationships, okay, I keep getting the same partner with a different face, but it's the exact same scenario every time. Well, then you have to change that. You keep doing the same thing or going after the same kind of person. You need to change that up. Excuse me. So, yeah, it's when you notice that, it's like there's a common denominator somewhere, and it's you, and if you don't change that about you, you're going to keep running into the same thing over and over.
Right. And you know what I think about when they said you keep pushing? So it made me think of like the wars scenario, right?
Yeah.
So you push until you overwhelm the opposing forces. But then once you do that, that releases something and then chaos ensues. And it's the same in your own life.
Right.
Once you're pushing, if you do even eventually push through something, then it creates chaos in ways that you never expected. Rather than if you go with the flow of your life and follow your guidance on the path that's the highest and best and
Mhm.
most fun for you. If you're trying to push something into existence, it won't be sustainable because it's like pushing your emotions from depression all the way up to joy. You
Yeah,
won't be able to sustain it because you skipped everything in between.
right.
And by doing that, you're like, oh, and then you crash back down. You're like, well, that didn't work. Well, it didn't
Mhm.
work because you tried to jump too high.
Yeah,
You tried to jump
yeah.
to this high flying disc that was so high up there that you couldn't quite reach it. And you just got your fingertips and then you slipped off.
Mhm.
It's about moving up to it,
Yeah,
right? Because the
yeah,
harder you push, the bigger the wall is going to become.
right. Yeah, yeah. It can be so simple if you let it. But
Right.
but it's hard when you're going through something and if you can just come back to it and remember it or keep reading the book, you know,
Mhm. How do I feel right now?
yeah, ask it of yourself. How do I feel?
How do I feel right now? And
Yep.
where is that in relation to the things that I've asked for?
Mm-hmm.
Am I feeling pretty good where they will probably be? Or am I feeling off and I need to find my way back up?
Yeah, yeah,
It's about checking in with yourself. That's what the art of allowing is at its very core is.
yeah.
But that's one thing that they're talking about here is when you try to control too much, you get more and more and more things that you have to try to control to the point where you can't control them. And there's so many things that you drop the ball in chaos.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a good example is like a kid that has had so much control in their childhood. They never got to have any freedom or do anything without, you know, supervision or whatever. They were so, what's the word?
Oppressed,
Oppressed, yeah.
suppressed.
And then they get to college or move out and get a job and they go nuts because they finally have that freedom and they do everything and maybe get in trouble or whatever. But it's because they didn't get to ease into that
Mhm.
a lot of times,
It's like a spring.
right.
You compress it too far,
And
and
it's gonna
all of a sudden
burst. Yeah.
it's gonna go off like a
Burst out
shot.
somewhere else,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So um just remember that throughout life, try not to restrict everything and restrict so much that you're pinching it off, like Abraham says or Esther says. You don't want to pinch off because you're pinching off the goodness that could happen if you would allow,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you let go of the oars and flow downstream a little bit, you might see some real beautiful scenery.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yep.
talked about the canoe scenario.
Yeah, last week we talked about that, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Also, is that where I start? Yeah,
I think
that's where
so.
we left off.
Yeah.
Also, there's little distinction between seeking control of a situation and wanting to influence a situation to be something different than it is, other than the extent to which you are willing to go to try to achieve it. In other words, in the seeking of influence, you may use words to try to persuade, or even use threats or action to coerce. Where in an actual attitude of control, you may offer stronger words or even take specific action to affect the behavior of another. But there is an even more important distinction that we want to make here than the one between influence and control, and that is the distinction between trying to get to where you want to be from your awareness of what you do not want, as compared to getting to where you want to be from your awareness of what you do want. That's a huge, huge distinction. And we forget to do that a lot of times. But with practice, you get there,
Right.
right?
Right. It's all about focus.
Yeah. The first is more about trying to motivate another to a different behavior, and the latter is more about inspiring another to a different behavior. If your effort at motivation, because you are focused upon that, you do not want, you do not have the benefit or help of your true power. But when you are focused completely upon what you do want, thereby releasing all resistance or opposition to your own desire, you are engaging the energy that creates worlds, and the power of influence is mighty. In your connection to and allowance of your true power, your influence to bring others into their own power is great. I love that. There was something that came to my mind when I was reading that second. Between inspiration and motivation. That's a really good point. You know, there are motivational speakers, motivational people, there are coaches that try to use just motivation to help people or get people to their goals. But really, if you inspire rather than motivate, it's going to be a much more lasting trip, or journey there,
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
Don't
They
you
always
think?
take inspired action.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, Because you get the inspiration for what you want to do next first through your guidance,
Mm-hmm.
and then take action on that.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. If you're just trying to motivate yourself, but you're not feeling inspired, that's not
Mhm.
sustainable.
Yeah.
And so by trying to motivate others, like they said, control or coercion,
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to be a sustainable thing, even if it has an effect at first.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you inspire them and help them to become empowered within
Mhm.
themselves and their own guidance,
Right.
that will have a sustaining and lasting effect on them
Mhm.
versus the other.
Yeah. And it's another thing to keep in mind when you are striving to hit a goal or do something. If it's not feeling good at any point on the way there, that might not be what you really want. It might be something that you're wanting because you think somebody else wants it for you, or, whatever that is. But take a look at that if you are really feeling like it's that big of a struggle to get there.
Or you can take a step back,
Right.
and say to yourself, what is the reason that I want to do this?
Yeah.
What's my inspiration to go
Mhm.
forward on this project if it feels difficult right now? And remembering that can help you to get back into that space of, okay, I remember why I'm doing this now.
Mhm.
So if I take my step back, I start to feel better. I know that I can move through
Yeah.
this block or this barrier or this difficult time, because I
Yeah.
know that the why I want to do it, that inspired piece of it,
Yeah.
is more important than quitting.
Yeah.
And giving up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a good point. So if you ever get to that place where you're thinking, I just want to give up, this doesn't feel good, just look at it in a different way. It might be that you're just feeling overwhelmed, or that you just need to take a break, take a couple breaths and regroup and allow yourself to reconfigure what you're doing, or
Right.
you know
And sometimes when you're expanding who you are and the things that you're doing, that
yeah.
can feel a little uncomfortable at first.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to take that little bit of a break to go, okay, recalibrate.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm ready to go forward again.
Yeah. And I read a story somewhere where somebody was having a lot of trouble, and they just couldn't, everything had been going wrong in their life, and their friend asked him, well, what are you gonna do? And he said, I'm going on vacation for a few days. And then the other guy was like, what? How can you just walk away when you're in all this pile of poop? And he said, I know it will help me regroup. And it did. When he came back from vacation, he was refreshed and able to move forward, and everything went smoothly because he let himself allow what was there, and he wasn't in problem mode. He was in solving.
Right.
And
He let go of the resistance. He set it
Yeah.
all down
Yeah.
and said,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to set that down and I'm going to come
Mhm.
back to it.
Yeah.
He got into a better feeling space. He got into a
Right.
better vibration.
Right.
Like you
Yeah.
said, he's practicing the art of allowing his life to improve
Yeah.
just by setting it all down for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. And Carissa, you have a really good your to-do list, that your magical to-do list that
Yeah.
you do. That's kind of the same thing.
It is kind of,
Yeah, a
it is
different
part
way
of
to
that
do it. Yeah.
practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
The magical to-do list is one of my favorite things. Maybe we
Yeah.
could revisit that this month.
Yeah.
Because, I write things on my list and then I'm like, okay, that's on my list. That's on its way to me. And I
Yeah.
just let it go.
Mhm.
And that magical to-do list is definitely one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. It's
You've
in my
had so
bag.
much fun with it.
Oh,
and
yeah, it's in my bag every day.
Yeah.
And if I have something to add to it, I add to it. And as I go through, if something happens, then I check it out.
Yeah.
And if it hasn't happened yet, it's still on my list.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. And make life fun. Like you love to do the list, make it fun, and then your burdens don't seem so heavy. They're gonna come. I mean, you're always gonna have something come up, but it doesn't have to be a real struggle every time.
Right. It's a way of letting it come.
Right.
Allowing,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah. What's our theme for the month? Yeah. Yeah. That's fun. Yeah. So, you have a lot of tools that we've given you throughout the couple of years almost that we're doing this.
Yeah.
Or, so, you have all those tools to help you move forward. Use them and don't let it be hard all the time. Allow life to be a little easier.
Right. Because that's really where the joy is.
Mm-hmm.
Is in the journey and allowing it to be a little bit
It
fun.
really is, yeah.
Life is supposed to be fun. That's
Yeah.
what Abraham says.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have a little keychain that reminds me every day that life is supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So good. Yeah. Anything else to wrap this up today?
I think we hit on some really interesting points today. I think we
Yeah.
said it in different ways.
Mhm.
So maybe some people, it'll help them get an idea that they can kind of throw around in their mind for the
Right.
next week until we're on next week to
Yeah.
talk about more stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. And, pick up this book if you don't have it yet, because it is really one of the good ones.
It's a great one.
I mean,
and it's
they
in
all
small
are.
bites too.
Yeah.
Kind of like the deliberate intent one and
Yeah.
the power of your emotions one.
Mhm.
This one has small bites, which is really nice, really easy for you to
Just go through a section a day.
have a section a day, and it's like a page and a half per
Yeah.
section for
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
And it has lots of really good examples too, which is fun about this one. It tells you how to go about things or what they would do in that specific
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah, and real life stories help you learn a little easier when you can hear a story.
And something that you can relate to and
Mhm.
understand in a new way.
Makes it sink in better.
Mhm.
So
Sure.
until next time, where can we find you, Carissa?
Well, if you want to find me on the internet besides YouTube, we're on YouTube at SoulSpace Podcast, which is what you're listening to right now.
Yeah.
You can find me on Facebook at Light of Hope Healing. You can find me on Squarespace at light-of-hope-healing.square.site, which is Light of Hope Healing with a bunch of dashes in between, .square.site. We are collectively on Facebook at Our Soul Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the main ones. Well, Tracy, if people want to find you in the easy peasy way to find you and find out the wonderful things that you're doing, where could they find you on the internet?
You can find me at inspiredsignals.com. All my links are there. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Inspired Signals and at Inspired Signals Studio for my art stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. Easy.
Cool.
Yeah.
InspiredSignals.com. Yeah, I should get something
You
like
need
that.
one of those. one day, 1 year will
I
be
mean,
really,
it's still in the works.
yeah,
It's still in the
it's
works.
okay. Life's a journey.
It is. And I'm not doing it perfectly, but I'm doing it in the best way that I can.
Right. Yeah.
Trying to enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun.
Well,
All right.
guys, we'll see you next
See you
week
next
with more
week.
good stuff.
Bye-bye.
Bye.